Hello YouTube! In this video I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think are 10 horrible weapons in Arsenal. Before I start, I do need to let you know that I have made a video like this in the past, so there will be a few weapons that I won't mention today because I've already included them in that last video. But because there are a few weapons I left out and there are even more weapons introduced in the game since then, I thought it was time to finally make another video. So if you want to see my first video on the 10 worst weapons in the game, I will put a link to that on the top right of your screen now. Now today's list is in no particular order because all weapons are good at something, but more importantly also horrible at many other things. So my first weapon today is the M40. This is one I really don't like and I should have added it to my last video ages ago. The M40 has horrible aim, reloads slowly, and you can't run with it. It does 80 body damage, which sucks because you will probably die before you have the chance to shoot again. You also get this weapon way too often and I wish they would remove it from the game immediately. The next weapon is the Mosin Nagant, also one you get way too often when you play, and its aim is even worse than the M40. Reloading goes super slow as well, and definitely when you've emptied out the entire magazine. You can't run with it either, and it doesn't have a lot of ammo. Maybe if they decrease the reload time or increase the run speed, it wouldn't suck so much. Then number 3 on this list is the Springfield Rifle. And yes, I absolutely hate rifles in this game, but the Springfield Rifle is probably the worst of these semi-automatic rifles. Sure, it does good damage, but boy oh boy does it reload slowly. It also fires atrociously bad and takes a full second for the action to complete. A second might not sound much, but it can mean the difference between a kill or a death in a heavy-paced match. On top of that, there's also only 5 bullets in the magazine and it doesn't even have a scope. The next one is the minigun and is actually one I hesitated on to put in my previous video. They had removed the minigun from the game briefly, but unfortunately put it back in a few months later. The minigun takes ages to charge, does fire enormously fast, but it's super loud and has a huge spread at first. Luckily, the spread gets slightly better after a few seconds, but it's still only slightly better, and as I mentioned before, a few seconds can mean the difference between life or death in this game. The minigun is probably one of the slowest weapons in Arsenal to walk with as well, and does minimum damage. At number 5 we've got the baseball launcher. This is not a super bad weapon per se, but many little things make the baseball launcher just super annoying to use. Sure, it does increasingly more damage per every successful continuous hit, but you need to be able to hit in the first place, and because of the curved projectile arch, this makes it very difficult. You also don't do any extra damage for headshots, reloading is horrible, and on top of that, it's not the fastest weapon to run with either. All in all, not the worst weapon, but certainly one I'd rather not get while playing this game. Next on the list is the Firework Launcher, another stupid weapon. The Firework Launcher only has 4 projectiles in the chamber, and it takes some time to reload. This wouldn't have been too bad if it wasn't for the fact that the fireworks launch at a very slow speed, and you really need to time your shots well to land a hit. The damage output isn't great, and no matter how good you shoot or how close you are, you'll never get a one-hit kill with this weapon. After that is the Spencer Carbine, not the most horrible weapon, but far from the best. For a semi-automatic rifle, the Spencer shoots incredibly slow, only has a 6-bullet magazine, and it takes ages to reload after every shot. You can double jump, which is nice, but considering the Spencer Carbine is so annoying to handle, that little thing won't save you or get you a kill. At number 8 I put the Rocket Launcher, which is also one I wanted to put in my last video, but thought was just not bad enough to include. Well, I was wrong because this weapon sucks. The rockets shoot at a tediously slow speed and you have to get very lucky or very close to get your kill. Yes, it's all about timing, but some players aren't good at that, or you just don't have time to aim in a high-paced game. Often you end up getting killed yourself instead anyway, rather than killing your opponent. The rocket launcher is also very slow to run with, and it takes some time to reload. The Henry rifle is next, and this one is very similar to the Spencer Carbine. Apart from getting a headshot, you will need 2 shots to kill your enemy. However, this rifle requires you to be very precise. It only has 6 bullets, so you might have to reload often, and combine that with its slow rate of reloading, and this weapon just takes ages to do anything. Sure, you can double jump, but what good is a double jump when you can't even shoot one lousy bullet? Then lastly I have the Flamethrower, the only recently added weapon in the game on this list. And yes, it looks awesome, but it handles very annoyingly. The Flamethrower does a measly 6 damage and you need to get pretty close to reach your target. The afterburn of the fire isn't quick enough to kill your enemy, and if they manage to get you first, they will be able to pick up your health pack and regenerate. On top of that, it's also a slow weapon to run with, it's one of the longer reloading weapons in the game, and people can just simply run away and shoot you from a distance. Finally, I do want to say that I probably haven't played with all the newly added weapons yet, which means there might be a few I forgot or just didn't know about. So if you agree with this list, disagree, or if you think I missed a weapon, please let me know in the comments below because I'm very curious to hear what you think. Please also don't forget to give this video a like and consider subscribing if you haven't done so, because it really helps me out. Thank you everyone so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all again in the next video.